What the fuck?
Fucking Kevin Lee. When he fought against Tony Ferguson, I looked at his chest the moment he walked into the cage. I was like, that is staph.
Dude, how about Roger Gracie against Buchecha?
Did he have staph?
He was on antibiotics.
No way.
Yeah, he goes, I didn't come here to tap.
That's
and then
insane.
they're like, you look a little sluggish. She's like, I was on antibiotics the whole time.
That's insane.
Well, you could see
Buchecha on antibiotics.
Nuts.
Holy shit.
You could see that Kevin Lee had staph.
100%.
He had an extra titty on his chest.
He had a giant welt on his chest, and I pointed it out to Daniel. I pointed out, I go, does that look like staph?
It was hilarious.
Someone in Daniel's ears was saying, do not talk about it. Do not talk about it. And he's like, yep, that looks like staph to me.
Right when you said it, I was like, oh, shit, I hope Joe's right, man.
Oh, no, I'm right.
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
there's no way that could be anything.
It turned out it was, right?
Yeah, it's swollen. Like something either happened, like maybe he got burnt
God, what's
backstage.
next for that kid? I haven't heard anything. You think he'd be
taking a break, you know?
His coach
back
just
to the drawing
committed suicide,
board.
huh?
His coach committed. Oh, it was Robert Foles. Yeah, man.
That was his coach?
That's a bummer. Robert Foles is a great guy. Yeah. I didn't know he committed suicide. I knew he died. I heard that there had been a rumor about that, but it wasn't confirmed.
That's what I heard, suicide.
Did his brother commit suicide as well?
Yes.
Fuck. Their poor parents.
Fuck. He was a really, really nice guy. Very smart guy, too. Very smart guy. That's such a bummer, man. You know, and who knows what causes someone who's so well loved and so liked. You know, that's a great argument for like chemical issues versus like how, I mean, you can tell some people just don't have good lives. Everything's going bad for them. They want to end their life because they can't take the pain. But then there's other people that are like him that are doing really well. You know, and you gotta go, man, what is
mystery,
it?
Man.
It is a fucking mystery. And we all have this real problem when it comes to people doing things that we would think would, you know, you'd consider to be something that someone who doesn't have control of themselves does, and we shun that. We don't like that. It bothers us.
Not me.
But there's a reality to like pain and suffering that we have to address, and you know, shaming someone for wanting to end their life is not.
Until you've been faced with that kind of despair. If your despair level is to the point where you take your own life, you have my utmost and everlasting sympathy. Yeah. I don't have a judgment on that. No. I've never been there. So the idea that I would be like, get it together. No. Usually a rational decision for someone who commits suicide is the only way out of this terrible situation is death. That's a rational decision. I have nothing but my ultimate. All you can do is shake your head and feel sad, not judgmental.
It's fucking completely horrible. I mean, when you stop and think about the idea of wanting to end your life, you know,
I feel lucky I don't have that that
depression
level
bug.
of serotonin in my brain.
Yeah, but I think I think for a lot of people, it goes back to, you know, what's the chemical reaction that's going on in your brain?
Well, they've done. Yeah.
Is it is it just an issue with some sort of a disorder where there's like something that's not producing the right amount of chemicals, or is it a problem of your past? Like it
could be a conflation of a lot of different factors.
Yep.
But one thing to know is that you have a set point for your serotonin usually. You know, like. Certain people, like me, I probably have a serotonin level from 1 to 10 at usually 7 to 8. You know, no matter what's going on, I'm just lucky. I just very rarely get depressed. And if I do, it's a mild sort of haze. Mm-hmm. Some people, they could invent the cure for every disease in the world and win the lottery and all this stuff.
Still
and
have it.
They just go back to their serotonin levels being at 4 or whatever. And it's just...
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. But
probably.
I think there's some people that are just never happy for whatever reason, chemically or... Whether it could be aided
Neil
by
Brennan
exercise.
Neil Brennan talks about that, right?
He does.
Neil's always has always been melancholy.
Mm-hmm.
He's always been sort of in that blue region, and I've always been
so
the
brilliant.
opposite.
Yeah, Neil Brennan's so brilliant. When you hear him talk about it, like he was like, with the Chappelle stuff, and he's like, I'm always just here, man. Especially after medication, I'm just here. I just go through the motions.
Yeah. He's a very smart guy.
Oh man, he's brilliant.
You know, I think there's also an issue with people that are really smart. They look at the futility of it all, and it's sometimes harder for them to overcome.
Well,
not
Doug Davidoff has the greatest
issues.
joke about that. He goes, he'd suffer from depression. I go, how you doing? Yeah, he wouldn't call me. I go, where you been? He goes, I got a touch of the black dog. And I'm like, yeah. And he had this joke. He goes, you ever want to like kill somebody, but you can't get yourself off the couch. It's like you're too depressed to get off the couch. It's like some people have a real thing. Where
man.
You get overwhelmed.
There's no denying. It's like, but how much can exercise help you? How much can diet help you? It's a factor. It's not the only factor, but it's a factor. And there's a lot of people that don't realize that, and they go through life. They have these issues, and then there's people that have all the exercise and the diet right, and they still are depressed.
Not the answer,
Still not the answer.
Like they have so much going for them.
And then there's head trauma. There's that's always going to be a factor. There's TBI and CTE and all the different things that does to your head.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that.
I was thinking about Chris Cornell because Chris Cornell had such an artistic, fully artistic, he accomplished so much artistically and had his artistry was continuing to flourish. And kind of in the middle of that with children and so much to live for.
Anti-anxiety medication.
Is that what he was taking?
Yeah, he called his wife up before he did it, and he was slurring his words, and they think he was on a lot of that stuff.
Well, how about the lead singer of Linkin Park? Same shit. He had 7 kids.
Yeah.
That stuff.
He had real depression, too, and he was sexually abused when he was young.
No, he was.
Yeah, but anti-anxiety medication has various effects on people. There's some people it's a godsend for, but it's just like the Brazil nuts thing. There's some people that are going to have an adverse reaction to it, and you have to be prepared for whatever that reaction could be.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's a fucking bummer, man. The human body, we don't have it figured out, but goddamn, they're getting closer and closer.
But it goes back to the fact that we're all very complicated. We're all individuals, so have a little compassion for each other.
Have a little compassion would be nice. There's a lot of people lashing out because they don't feel good. And I watched this lady the other day cut in front of somebody. It was hilarious. This guy's trying to get into this lane, and this lady speeds up to try to keep the guy from getting in the lane. And the guy sees it, so he just kind of eases over anyway, and she just lays on her horn. Bam! And then the guy pulls up, like he's in this lane now, and he pulls up, and she gets in the next lane, shoots in front of him, turns her car in front of him, and slams on the brakes. So he gets to the left of her and just starts going towards her, and she freaks out and turns into traffic and has to slam on the brakes. Like, you just had a crazy hissy fit over nothing because you did that cunty thing that all of us have been guilty of doing, where you don't let somebody in your lane. And this guy was like, fuck you, I'm getting in. It's like she sped up. She sped up to keep him from going in. You watched it all play out, and you're like, wow.
Baby, you my everything. You all I ever wanted. We could do it real big, bigger than you ever done it. You be up on everything. Other hoes ain't never on it. I want this forever. I swear I could spend whatever on it. Cause she hold me down every time I hit her.